Now, please help me give a very, very warm welcome to Executive Director of the Walter Kaitz Foundation, Michelle Ray.
Thank you, Dana, for the warm introduction and for serving as our host for our first virtual Hollywood Creative Forum. For those of you who are not aware, the Walter Kaitz Foundation is a 40-year-old nonprofit foundation dedicated to advocacy around diversity, equity, and inclusion in media and entertainment. The foundation provides resources and significant funding to key organizations that support vital programs and initiatives that furthers diversity's impact in our industry. So now on to today. While everyone enjoys a good narrative, the Hollywood Creative Forum is about more than storytelling. While we do the important work of providing a platform for communities that have been voiceless, marginalized, or resigned to stereotypical characters and storylines, there is a greater purpose for this event. The purpose is to create access, resources, opportunities, and even connections for diverse creatives and content creators to tell their own unique stories. As an industry, we know there's a business side to Hollywood, and it is for this reason that if we are able to create a more inclusive entertainment landscape, it then becomes more important than ever that we showcase diverse writers, directors, showrunners, both here in the US and around the world, who all have global perspectives and lived experiences that reflect their diverse and often intersectional stories. We hope through this event that you can gain knowledge on how to navigate the business of Hollywood, from securing a space in the writer's room, frankly, to understanding how best to navigate the content pipeline. And for every aspirational tagline and ambitious mission statement about overcoming the barriers and the processes that historically have made it daunting for First Nation people, Black, Latinx, differently abled people, and other opportunity-challenged communities to be themselves, to see themselves, and own their own identities and narratives, there is a corresponding call to action for the leaders and allies within our vast networks and studios to commit to doing this work. And as a collective society and frankly, an industry, we still have much work ahead of us. And if we're going to make sure that every story is being told, we have to make sure we make space for these stories. That is why we are here. And that is why the Walter Kaitz Foundation curates this event. It is why we decided in our 10th iteration of the forum to bring you a virtual experience rather than sitting on the sidelines and waiting for travel and in-person events to return to normal. The truth is that we really have a lot of work to do and no time to waste. The forum is one example of how the foundation advocates for diversity, equity, inclusion, and even belonging across media and entertainment. And as we occupy our unique position at the intersection of diversity, inclusion, culture, innovation, we, along with this creative community, work within an industry that can only be described as the original influencers of thought leadership, advocacy, resources, conversations, and opportunities. We exemplify what it looks like to be an environment where there's a place for everyone to bring their talents, experiences, and ideas to contribute to the collective success of our industry. As a Jamaican-born, Canadian-educated, Black, South Asian, Western European, trilingual woman living in the United States, I am living and breathing as an example of our focus on intersectional diversity and, of course, this year's theme, stories from the diaspora. In one way or another, all of us have some diasporic aspect of our experiences and identities. We are, after all, people who check more than one box. And the increasing awareness of this fact has given rise to the terms like third culture and intersectional diversity. But as we expand our lens, we challenge you to see yourselves and each other a little differently, more fully, and maybe even more compassionately. No matter what we look like on the surface, all of us want to be seen and to be heard, and our unique experiences and cultures are all part of the mosaic of our collective and individual histories, humanity, ideas, and identities. So once again, I welcome you to the Hollywood Creative Forum, a place where every story is told and hopefully is heard. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome my colleague, friend, television executive, and co-creator of the Hollywood Creative Forum, president of Planet DMA, the one and only DMA.
Michelle, happy anniversary, my friend. Happy 10th. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Everyone, from our very first planning dinner, the Hollywood Creative Forum has enjoyed a very specific distinction in this space. And that is, we have focused solely and obsessively on the intended outcome of the event, constantly increasing the number of diverse working professionals in the entertainment industry. And that outcome orientation means that we've been steadily adapting HCF every single year to respond to the latest changes in Hollywood and to continue having impact. And this year is no different. But I want to talk briefly about what has stayed the same. Over all of these years, I really just want to speak up and highlight the years of partnership and championship from this industry's incredible talent executives in diversity, equity, and inclusion, who have been leading the strategies at networks and studios, connecting talent to gigs, and speaking so honestly and so powerfully in this space for decades, and too often going unrecognized as they continue to define and lead this work. So just a hats off to those wonderful creative talent execs across the industry. And Michelle, think of how much has changed since we were literally orchestrating those first hand matches of working professionals to the network and studio and production company hirers they were going to do one-on-ones with the next day. The folks who were looking for them that we were going to just hand introduce, and how powerful that was, versus an industry now that has as many databases for you to get your information into as probably there's talent out there. Now we're seeing social media as this powerhouse where independent creators have a voice and then can be connected straight into this trusted path for broadcast, for cable, for streaming opportunities. And the 24/7 platforms that broadcast, cable, and streaming have created have generated such a volume of demand for content that it no longer is or can be gated for just a specific few. There's worldwide demand for news stories, for real stories, for more and more stories, everyone for your stories. And over the next couple of days, as ever, we're going to talk to you about the organic pipelines for connecting to those opportunities, the best practices for accessing them in today's industry, and how to craft the excellent content that this industry is actively seeking and worldwide audiences are actively embracing. We cannot wait to get started. So please, Dana, let me turn everything back over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. I'm excited. Thank you, DMA. Thank you so much, Michelle. I told you, get your pens and paper ready. I'm motivated. I'm ready to get this party started. So here we go.
We all have a story to tell. Beautiful, complex, fascinating stories. Told through a lens of varying shades and experiences. That's the power of art imitating life. It cannot be defined or confined to one space. So let your creativity soar. Fill the page, press record, and dare to captivate the masses with your authentic voice. We all have a story to tell. What's yours?